Hey guys, and welcome back to the final match of Day 2 of Alliance Tournament 14. We are here with, or I am here as Elise Randolph with Apothony, joined by some really amazing teams, the R0nin and Agony Empire. The R0nin have won the Alliance Tournament before, way back, and they've also come in second once or twice. Basically, tournament royalty and long-standing dominance in the Alliance Tournament. They are bringing a Vindicator Balgorn core with double Astartes, 2 Deacons for reps, a Magus for links, 2 Purifiers, and a Crewer. This is kind of crazy. Apothony, tell us a little bit about the Agony Empire team.
Agony have got a fantastic team for us. I love the Agony Empire. Really fantastic team of amazing PvPers, and one of the kind of elite groups that's passed their knowledge on. I remember way back when I was in EVE University 3 or 4 years ago, they would come down and run classes and run training camps for us. It was absolutely fantastic to see them. And it's fantastic to see them now in the Alliance Tournament, still doing so well after so many years of being absolutely brilliant. They have brought the good old TFI core, double Fleet Foon, EOS in EOS, double Swivel, double Confessor, Purifier, Crewer. We have seen this format so much of the last few days. It's a solid staple of this year's tournament, as it was last year, maybe with the Crewer, a little bit of flavor in there. The match will start very soon, actually. Elise, do you have any predictions as to who might win?
I don't know. The R0nin are bringing their flagship Balgorn, the well-known Flaghorn with its massive control bar. You can see the control bar is actually so broken on the R0nin side. It goes off the screen a little bit. Agony Empire do not have that big of a control bar, but it's still pretty sizable in its own right. I'm expecting the R0nin to control these Empire cores a little bit too much, but who knows how it's going to work out.
I do worry, with all that DPS, with the double Fleet Foon and the Bomber, the Purifier, whether the Deacon is going to be able to hold up against that damage, potentially onto the Bow, potentially onto the Vindicator. The Astartes have a T2 tank, but they don't have that much EHP, and looks like there are Magus as well, adding extra links. Looks like we got 30 seconds till the match starts. I could not be excited for this match today. What a great match to end on.
Yep, definitely. Especially teams of this caliber, seeing them. We can see that the R0nin team warped in fairly close to the beacon with their Astartes and their Flaghorn and Vindy. They got within 10 kilometers from the beacon, with the rest of their support at 30 kilometers further back. Meanwhile, all the Agony team warped in at 50 kilometers, so it's going to be a little bit of a positioning battle early on. The R0nin are going to want to charge in and get webs out on the Agony Empire Oneros with their Flaghorn. They should be able to do it. He should be in range, but might be need a little bit of maneuvering before we can get there.
Yeah, it looks like that first Fleet Typhoon has been webbed, but the Balgorn being the first army going straight for the headshot, straight for the flagship. It's through shield. We're going to have to see how it tanks with these Deacons supporting. They do not put out as much rep as T2 Cruiser. Nearly as much, but not quite.
Yep, we see swarms of medium and heavy armor maintenance bots surrounding this Balgorn. It looks like the Vindicator is opting for heavy armor maintenance bots instead of heavy drones. So it should be interesting to see how Agony Empire responds to this. If they go for trying to shoot through this Balgorn, or if they know that they have to kill these drones. I don't see drones exploding that quickly, and it's a little bit hard with the Fleet Foon because you have to waste a little bit more missile volley on them than you would like.
This is super interesting. It seems that the R0nin have fielded tracking disruptors, which they've put on the Confessors. I wonder if they were expecting a more turret-based comp from the Agony Empire. If they'd expected this, wouldn't you expect to see guidance disruptors? I mean, I suppose they're just putting on what ships they can. Both the Fleet Foon and the Balgorn roughly staying in high armor at the moment, but it looks like both teams are doing okay just now, but they are slowly dropping.
Yeah, the Balgorn the Flaghorn is actually getting precariously low here. This Vindicator needs to get... He's sitting right next to his Balgorn buddy to protect him a little bit. He needs to get closer to this Fleet Foon if he wants to do anything. He needs to apply that huge damage bar that we see, or a huge attack bar that we see. It is a lot of potential attack, but not a lot of applied attack on the R0nin squad. They're just waiting and waiting for the Agony pilots to make a mistake or get out of position, or they're waiting for their support wing to start doing some damage here.
Oh, the Swivel of Reverend taking a lot of damage here. We might go down, but a Bomber at the same time from R0nin going down quickly. Oh, is the Bomber going to follow? Yes, it does. Trading Swivel for Bomber. I'm not even sure who that favors at this time. They've got to be careful because Silas, for example, is getting very close to the arena edge. You know something about that, right, Elise?
I don't know anything what you're talking about, but these Purifiers, this is the problem with the Deacons. They need to be next to this Balgorn. They can't come out and rep the Purifiers who are kiting away, but it doesn't matter too much. It looks like the R0nin are going to go after another swivel, and look at him melt with that Vindy web. His speed dropped down to 8 meters a second. Man, oh man, if I could always have a 90% web on me, I wouldn't have to worry about swivels anymore. He is still holding reps. He is into the tank mode, looks like, so the swivel is getting a lot of from this Oneros. This Balgorn really needs to get out, run up, and reach this Oneros and get his Gnosis on him to sort of mitigate some of the incoming damage, or outgoing reps, rather.
One of the untold epics of the Alliance Tour in every match is the story of the logistics pilot being forced to pull reps here, then everywhere, using heat as best they can, making sure they stay in perfect range. Being a tournament logistics pilot is one of the hardest roles in EVE Online. Those deacons having to communicate with each other. The Aneros from Agony also doing an amazing job. Damage back on the Balgorn, everything's still just holding EM, but now a Confessor from Agony taking a lot of damage, as well as a Purifier from R0nin.
Yep, the Confessor is going down really, really quickly. It looks like the Oneros had to be positioned a little bit further outside and couldn't get onto the Confessor quick enough and fast enough, or rather close enough. So the Confessor dropped through the reps a little bit late. Second Confessor now is being nosed and nuded, potentially by this Balgorn. But it looks like the Balgorn is just nosing these two Typhoons, trying to turn off their tank, as the Vindicator is sitting on top of a Fleet Typhoon, and he's going to town on him, but the Balgorn belonging to the R0nin, their Flaghorn is actually dropping. It is no longer holding. The rep drones are gone.
Well.
Yep, the Fleet Foon is going to go down. They need this Fleet Foon to die before their Balgorn takes any more damage. And look at the Balgorn. He's just sitting pretty. He had nothing to worry about. He's got the officer reps on him, so he is just fine. Agony lose a Fleet Typhoon. That's half of their battleship core down. They've got almost nothing left in the tank, and they need to get rid of these deacons. The R0nin deacons were doing too much work, and Agony's finally noticed. They've swapped over to Lilu Killick's deacon. Let's see if they can break it with only one Typhoon, one Swivel, and one Confessor.
I mean, it's going to be so hard to kill it. The only ship on their team that is going to apply good damage to that deacon, is the Confessor. Cruise missiles on a Typhoon fleet, not going to be great. Massive lasers on a Balgorn, not that great. A bomber, don't even bother trying to shoot a Logi Frigate with the bomber. You're going to apply no damage there. We've got the Typhoon fleet of Agony going, the second one going so low now.
Yep, the R0nin held out strong. They kept their composure through the entire match. They didn't bother running in. They didn't get scared when their Flaghorn almost died. They said, you know what, we're going to force you to make a mistake out of the Empire. We're going to force you to get out of position, and we're going to let our Flaghorn do all the work. Like we said in the previous match, the longer these Flaghorns here, the more damage they do to this Agony Empire team. And you can see it. Their reps turned off. Their hardeners turned off. They had nothing left. They had no reps, but their hardeners turned off, and they finally melted. This Vindicator putting in work. This attack bar being applied with great precision. Good job to that R0nin for holding out, and the match is all but won for them now, unless they make some sort of crazy micro jump drive mistake trying to emulate the culture from earlier today.
Oh, I love that game so much. It was so back and forth. You know, you really couldn't predict for the first few minutes who's going to win there, but the R0nin just gently edging it forward, coming towards the victory they've got here, taking down the last Confessor. Now we see the jams being spread across fewer targets, so they're much easier to land, and R0nin is snowballing into this fantastic victory they won, even though I believe they did just lose a ship.
I think a Purifier might have boundary violated. I don't know. Either way, a Purifier is definitely down, and I see a wreck from. Oh no, Purifier.
It was
is
a Svipple, I think it was killed. It didn't boundary. Local says that it was destroyed, but it looks like good fights are in fact in local.
Yep, really, really good job from the R0nin, looking scary with this team comp. They knew they had to bring out one of their best setups to fight Agony. The elimination bracket is super scary down there.
I'd love to ask you here, Elise, do you think that going for the Balgorn, the Flaghorn especially first, was a good choice? Do you think they should have gone to the Deacons sooner and tried to get them down? Or do you think that going for the Flaghorn is the strongest decision in this situation?
I don't know. It's easy to say in hindsight that going for the Flaghorn wasn't the play, but, you know, at the moment when you say, you know what, maybe I can kill a Flaghorn, if they didn't realize it was a Flaghorn and they thought it was just a normal Balgorn, that ship would have definitely died, right? And they didn't really have much to apply into these deacons, so that would have been a bit of a losing battle. So I don't know. I probably would have gone for a different target, but you can't really fault them for going to the Balgorn. If it wasn't a flagship, it definitely would have died, and all the control would have been gone for the R0nin side, and the Agony Empire would have been able to kite around and apply a lot of pressure.
For sure, and nearest now of Agony going down the logistics strip, so important. And I think it's really worth mentioning that Agony are an amazingly strong team. They are a really good Alliance Tournament team, and we've seen logistics frigates today a fair amount, but very rarely working. This means that the R0nin must have practiced the crap out of logistics frigates. The two pilots there must have absolutely mastered them. They are so hard to fly right. There are so many things that can go wrong, but the R0nin were nearly flawless in their execution of a logistics frigate team, and that speaks to just how ridiculously good, how disciplined, how skilled pilots they are, I think.
And they built their team around the Deacons as well. It's not just like, hey, we need Logi frigates, or we need Logi, let's just use 2 Deacons. They picked ships that could stay around in a core of next to each other and use a lot of control. These Rail Astartes don't have to go very far to apply their damage. The Balgorn could just sit around and move around with his Vindicator buddy. We saw that the Vindicator and the Balgorn were basically holding hands for the most of the match, in the early stages at least. And until the Vindicator felt comfortable with the rips, he was then able to go out and apply his blaster damage all over Agony Empire's face. But really, really well-designed team from the R0nin, really using these Deacons to their fullest effect, and understanding the range limitations of them. The Purifiers obviously died, but I mean, that's to be expected. You can't really keep bombers up, and you can't really worry about keeping it up, especially when your Flaghorn is taking as much damage as it was earlier in the match.
Yeah, the last 2 ships in Agony Empire going together. It was awesome to be able to cast 2 games at the very end of the day with you, Elise. Thank you so much to you and all the other guys that phoned in remotely to help us run the show today. You've done an amazing job. I've been able to hear snippets of your commentary. You know that just did awesome. And with that match over, we're going to go back to the studio.
What are we all looking at? Nice. What are you laughing at? Whoa, what's over here? Oh my
Doing the same thing as they did last time. They're just charging straight in towards the enemy. They have no fear.
In Eve, the only thing worth more than Isk is trust. In Amsterdam, Eve is real.
Hey guys, welcome back to the final episode of the Analysis Desk. With me I've got Nash Cadaver, Bayarte joining us at last, Rockedex, and you're still with me, Apothony, who you've had non-stop for the last like 40 minutes or so. I'm so sorry. I am now wearing the hat. You did it, you people watching the stream. Rockedex, we just saw T2 logistics frigates being used. Mostly we've seen them die a lot this weekend, but we saw them work so well and against a really strong team that you would expect to be able to beat them. That must speak so much for the R0nin. I mean, can you break down that match for us just a little bit?
Yeah, I think the R0nin did really, really well. I mean, they had Balgorn Vindy. It was their flag bar, I believe, as well. So that's one hell of a mean ship to have on grid. You're going to have the extended web range. You're going to be able to screen stuff that's coming in to deal with your support. You're going to have the newts as well. I think a key part of this setup was using that Balgorn to shut down the enemy Oniros, stop it putting out any reps. It meant that they could then kill the 2 Fleet Foons, which is obviously the teeth in the TFI core. Without them, they really didn't have any damage. It took a while to wear that Oniros down. Obviously, he's going to have cap injectors. He's going to be able to put out some reps, not a lot. And eventually, he just went flat. They didn't need to kill him early, simply because if you can neutralize a ship so that it's effectively, useless, you don't need to put the damage on it. And they played that very, very well. Moved out the Oniros, took out the DPS, and then just dealt with what was left.
Yep, so massive congratulations to the R0nin there for going through and continuing into the winners bracket. Agony dropping down into the losers bracket. They're not out of the tournament. They are still in. Next, I want to speak to Mr. Bayarj, who I'm fairly sure you haven't slept for like 2 days, right?
Yeah, I got up far too early this morning. I think I was pretty pumped about the response we got yesterday, and I was eager
So
to
what have
crack
you
on
been up
with
to
another
this
day.
weekend? You've been like our brain central control at the studio, right?
Yeah, I've been directing the shows, so all the information, I guess, has gone through me. I've just been making sure everything's ticking along, updating the text on the screen, stuff like that. It's been really, really hard work. I've been basically one of the behind-the-scenes people, along with Biohazard. We kind of come as a pair, really, in this production. He's kind of managed the US side of things, and I've managed the EU side of things, and kind of built a bridge between us. Also, I want a big shout out to our camera guy, Jake, who's done a fantastic job, and our sound engineer, Ryan, who's obviously been running up and downstairs miking people up. Brilliant job. And 2 more behind-the-scenes people who haven't got enough credit. Elinari for doing a fantastic spreadsheet, because we all know that Eve is spreadsheets in space. She's been posting all of the results, all the comps, all the setups, and keeping us updated as we've gone along. And also Discreet Error, who's a friend of ours, who's also an Eve fan. He's been a runner and production assistant today, and I'm just doing a fantastic job. I just want to make sure those guys got a shout out, because it was really, really good teamwork.
Yeah, I mean, massive thank you to you and everyone else, the whole team supporting us here today, me especially. Like, being a host has just been probably as easy as it can get, thanks to all of you guys running around doing everything for me. I have just to sit here and open my mouth and let something spew out. So a few plugs before we go. Don't forget to tune in to the Icelandic broadcast from CCP headquarters next weekend and the weekend after. If you're new to EVE Online, if you're just watching the stream because it's popular today, it's a fantastic game. I highly recommend it. Make sure you come in November, where you can start a free account thanks to the Alpha Clone system. I'm sure you can Google how good that will be, or people will link it in the chat for you. I need to make a personal shout out very quickly. I'm hosting an Alliance Tournament Finals party on October 16th at the Bristol Pear Pub in Sellyoak, Birmingham, England. So if you're from the UK, you want to come hang out, drink some beer with your mates, watch the amazing finals day by the other commentary team, it's going to be a fantastic day. Come along. Even if you're not from the UK, flying anyway, it's going to be absolutely badass. And now I have the honour to hand it over to the man of the day, the man who put it all together, the man whose idea it was, and then probably fucked off and let us do all the actual hard work. But still, it is time for Mr. Nash Cadaver to close off the day.
Thank you very much. So while we're all sucking each other off, I'm going to take this opportunity to thank you, Mr. ATXIV, for an incredible 2 days. I'm going to thank all the team, and I'm sure that we've gone through this already, and some of the guys have already covered some of this. There's an incredible amount of work that's gone into this, and blood, sweat, and tears, and time. And it's all done for passion and care for the community and esports. And specifically to you, Mr. ATXIV, thank you very much for your hard work for the last 2 days. You've been an incredible host. I'm going to close off by referring not just to the next 2 weekends, which will be presented by CCP themselves, to close off the incredible standards that I'd like to think we've set for this weekend. Also on the 6th of November, we will be starting the championship. That is our second season for this year, which has been the brainchild of my good friend Bayarj. Will be managed by our good friend Elise Randolph. It's going to be incredibly exciting, going to be spread over 6 weekends. So make sure you tune in for that. But until then, and until next weekend, I think we all say goodbye.